Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Apprentice, still the only podcast and series that delves into the minds of one of the greatest players to ever play the game, former FPL Tools world number one, Mr. Matthew Corbett, just back from Italy. Matt, how was the trip?
It was good. It was good. Short and sweet, but that's how we like it. Good way to spend a blank week of the Premier League. So yeah, kept myself occupied. How are you doing?
Yeah, okay. My team obviously got beat by Plymouth in the FA Cup,
Oh
but
yeah.
other fish to fry is how I'll get I'll get past that. But yeah, shame to lose it. Um,
Well, that'd been an 18 pointer, 19 point for their manager, for their assistant manager,
with that,
right? So
yeah,
long
clean
may it
sheet, goal.
continue. It's probably worth saying we are what, 6:45 UK time, and Liverpool and Everton about to kick off, what, 7:30. So yeah, game week is still
7:30.
active. Game week 24, like, it was some pretty big ramifications for both of us.
Yeah,
Everton, a draw, Everton win, dare I say, would be massive for me. Salah doing anything would be big for you. So like, super exciting. But
yeah.
you've got to control me. I know you want to watch it, so control me if I'm yapping.
keep keep a tab. Well, we're not going to actually cover game week 24 points until next episode because, cause we did it last week, halfway through, whilst this derby was still left to play,
Yep.
and nothing's changed. I'm still on 96. You're still on 82. No ranks have moved, so there's no point in starting with that. And we will dive straight in with what's coming up. And we are going to talk, unsurprisingly, a lot about Villa and Liverpool players. Double game week 25 was confirmed. We didn't know which teams were going to play last time we caught up. We now do, with Newcastle and Liverpool making the Carling Cup. Carling Cup? How old am I? The League Cup final. Villa and Liverpool are both playing twice. We will then look at fixtures. And we picked out Bournemouth, who were top of both the defence and attacking ticker. So not a team to be ignored. Have a look at their options, followed by Captain of Gaming 25, our own team reveals, and then finish off with Matt versus Dave. How does that sound, Matt?
Sounds good. I reckon we got in us to do it within
We've got it.
30 minutes, I reckon.
We've got it. Well, let's start with Aston Villa and Liverpool players, as I say, both playing twice. Villa playing at home to Ipswich and at home to Liverpool. Liverpool playing at home to Wolves and then away at Aston Villa. I bought up a screen, which we often do, looking at the last 6 game weeks and their form ranked by expected FPL points. All I see here, mate, is domination by Liverpool. Watkins is the only player in the top 10 from Aston Villa when you compare both teams. I don't really want to focus too much on Liverpool, Matt, because there was a double game week 24 that Liverpool win. So I imagine most people are cement on their 3 picks, though.
Yeah, I think obviously the caveat here is obviously Liverpool played one. Well, they haven't actually played their double, actually. So yeah, this is just pure domination. You're quite right. I was going to say they've got a double in there, but they don't. So yeah, let's assume everyone's got 3 Liverpool players, and we know Alexander Arnold's on the bench tonight, so presumably
Yep.
fit. So I don't think he's a move now. I think if he was out of the squad, you could consider getting rid of him. One question for Liverpool, like we won't dwell on the players after this, I promise. You currently have triple captain activated. You could activate a chip next week. Would
Yep.
you consider slot? Would you consider moving on a Liverpool player, for example, Trent, to free up Liverpool slot, and then get slot in?
Now that I've got 3 Liverpool players and Trent looks like he'll be fine for the weekend, no,
Okay.
I don't see the point because I've
Yeah.
got 3 players playing twice. So I wouldn't chase it because I'd only want to probably move off slot the week after when they play Man City. So I'm kind of banking a transfer with that as well.
No, fair enough. I think you'd be good enough to keep that game, but yeah, fair enough. I get the logic. But yeah, form, it's all Liverpool, right? And then Watkins, which I think, personally for me, I think he's quite a hot player for this upcoming week. But who else from Villa?
Well, we are going to touch on it because here comes the expected points for game week 25. And
Hmm.
Watkins is in at second.
Yeah.
Um, you've also got Rogers in the top 10 expected and Tillemans. Sticking on Watkins, sorry, for a second. Expected points second behind Salah. Unsurprisingly, Salah top at 10.1. Do you think it's worth bringing Watkins in for somebody like an Isaac for this
Um,
game week?
I think in isolation, probably, yeah. I think Watkins is a great asset. Obviously, the previous page demonstrate that he's doing underlines right. he's getting chances and whatnot. Obviously, be expected points this week. I think he's a great option for this week, and okay for the medium term. Obviously, he won't play in 29, but neither would Isak, right? So I think Watkins is a great option.
So I looked at those fixtures. So the double game week, Ipswich and Liverpool. Then he's got Chelsea at home, Palace away, Brentford away, and then a blank. So yeah, it's not easy fixtures, but not horrific. I think it's about the same as Isak. Isak's got poor fixtures, similar sort of run.
I think Newcastle have like slightly worse fixtures. If I'm being honest, we'll see what it says on the ticket. But yeah, I think Watkins, he's currently out of flag, but we assume he's fit. He's by far clear the best option from Villa, right? So I personally probably looking to try and move him in. I guess then it's like who else, right? So let's split it between. Let's go defense first, and then we'll talk about mids, because mids is probably a bit more interesting. I would say, like, if I'm putting ranking my top 3 assets, I'm a sucker for a keeper. So I think Martinez needs to be up there, right? I think there's a valid option of people jumping off the likes of Pickford for Martinez. Rest of the defenders from Villa. It's kind of tough. Konsa would probably be the best bet because of his price point, right? 4.4, but he's now injured, right? So you could look at Luca Dean, 4.6. I don't think they haven't been keeping many clean sheets, right? So I think I'm viewing their defense as nice to have. I don't know if you've got a similar opinion to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be rushing. They concede a lot of goals. You'd expect Liverpool will probably score. Ipswich, maybe that's where the clean sheet comes in, but they score goals away from home, so I wouldn't be banking on that either.
It's actually 2 clean sheets in the last 10.
Yeah, they don't. It's not great. So for me, I'm not going to rush unless if Trent was out, different matter. Maybe you consider him to free up some budget, but I won't be moving my Robinson or my game week 1 Aina to down to a Digne.
I agree. I think defenders and probably keepers, but even with Martinez, I'd say it's a bit of a luxury move, depending on any transfers you've got. Loads of people might have banked transfers, then it's kind of nice to do, but I'd view it as luxury. And then mids, I guess obviously on this table we've got Rodgers and Tielemans just appearing. 7.2 expected points for Rodgers and Tielemans at 7. I'd say they're the best 2 mids. I would say if I was looking at the kind of like Villa mids, and then obviously there's the new boys, which is interesting. But like you're always playing the risk: are they going to get minutes? Are they integrated in the squad? I think you can get a little bit too excited too early with players like this, right? So
on to them. I've got a nice little screenshot of them both with their Villa tops.
Yeah,
that you might like to see. There you go. I'll bring it up now. There you go. Feel free to talk. Rashford and Asensio are they worth considering? I appreciate Asensio's new to the league, which is always usually a red flag.
Asensio is a better player. I'd say more kind of like interesting. Kind of Rashford is interesting as well. I think he's just forcing it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to get 2 starts over the double? I don't think so.
Well, this is it. Rashford hasn't started a game since the 1st of December.
Then they're not going to start, right. You can you're going to have a front 3 of Watkins, Bailey, and Rodgers. Bailey's a perfectly fine player, right?
Yeah.
Or Ramsey, like you said, yes. So that's the front 3, and like sometimes Rodgers will play kind of like as a 10. But those players are perfectly fine, right? So I'm not seeing 2 starts, so I'm going to give them a miss.
Give them a miss. I'm with you, by the way. I'm giving both a miss. If you are looking to bring in a midfielder, there's a little bit of insider knowledge. I mean, you can find this out on any stat websites, but just to run through them, Tielemans 5.5 million over the last 6 game weeks. He is the highest for their midfielders for expected points.
Yep,
20.98. He's also top for expected goal involvement per 90 of 0.29. To put that into context, Rodgers expected goal involvement 0.21, Ramsey 0.23. Rodgers is actually bottom of the 3. No, although granted, there's not that much in it.
Yeah, he's been trash, hasn't he, really recently, Rodgers. But I think there's enough there, given like what he's been doing in Champions League and Cup games, right? So it's not obviously if you look at it more broader for a season, expect the goal involvement to look better. So I'm not going to jump and say he's out of form, not scoring, because it's happening in other competitions, right? Just not in the Prem. But if you're looking at Prem alone, he's been trash really for like months, really.
But compared, I mean, out of the three, he's your first pick, right? Rodgers.
Yeah, It's Watkins and Rodgers by far, and then there's a big gap. And I think, dare I say, there's midfielders options from other teams that you'd want to kind of put in ahead of Tielemans or a Rashford.
Yeah. Well, whilst we're still on them, not the new boys, just Villa and Liverpool, is there a spot for Emre or Slot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you, I mean, you're saying there basically to me, only Watkins and Rodgers are worth it for outfield players. So that gives a nice third option to bring in potentially Emre if you've still got your assistant manager.
Yeah, no, I think that's someone going after the ceiling, right? You got a nice game against Ipswich at home, then you got another home game which is beneficial, where you got the opportunity for points bonus. Obviously, it's not ideal because it's against Liverpool, right? You'd prefer that against a Forest or a Chelsea or Arsenal, but you can roll the dice. I think I'd prefer Slot versus Emery, but like I think maybe Slot is a bit more difficult to get to. A lot of people have 3 Liverpool players, but I think Emery's perfectly fine, really. And then you do have the option to keep him. Why not? The Chelsea home isn't the worst game. You've got an option to keep him.
Yeah. Out of interest, I know you've played your assistant manager, so you've got to do something with it, but I haven't, right? So out of interest, if you hadn't played your assistant manager chip, would you definitely be playing it this week?
Not definitely. I think the Villa run isn't the best. I think if Fulham had the double, then it would be very interesting for Marco Silva, because it was like an easy home game plus Forest at home, right? And then a nicer run thereafter. I probably would, because I think we're just running out of time to use chips. I would probably use it. However, it's slightly less appealing than the Fulham Marco Silva route if they were doubling.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
I'd probably use it just because chances to use chips are going to run out.
Yeah, and then use it. The thing that's put me off it is in the next 4 they only play Liverpool that are 5 or more ahead of them, and it'd basically force a transfer. And we'll come on to that when I come on to my team.
You don't have to transfer, but
no, but I'd be chasing the upside. But yeah, there you go. Villa and Liverpool. Keep your 3 that you probably got for Liverpool or Slot if you've got Slot as your AM, and then it's Watkins, Rodgers, and probably nobody else unless you really want to be.
I mean, Martinez, I'd be interested in, but it does feel like a luxury move.
Spot on. Well, we'll touch on the ticker, and I mentioned a little bit at the beginning. There's a reason for this, and that's because if you look at the defensive ticker, Bournemouth at top. If you look at the attacking ticker, Bournemouth at top as well. I'll put the defensive one back up, but people always get blind by double game weeks, and I just want to point out there is a very good side. Bournemouth, very unlucky not to beat Liverpool. They're on an incredible run. Only lost 1 in their last 14, and that was the Liverpool game that they could quite easily have took something from. Just gone to Goodison Park and won 2 and look very good, and that fixture run is phenomenal. So yeah, would you rather target a double, or would you get somebody in from Bournemouth?
Well, you could do both. That's always options for people, and you always do have the ability to bring Bournemouth players game week 26 onwards. I know Southampton is an appealing game. It is away, right? So it's not home. So like if transfers exist, you can use them, right? So you could bring in Villa players and Bournemouth players this week, or you could keep your powder dry with the Bournemouth players and bring them in 26 onwards. But yeah, like you said, I think they're the team to stand out. I mean, you had to flick through to the attack.
Yeah, attack. Absolutely.
So yeah, kind of attack wise, again, Bournemouth stand out. Chelsea they got a kind of nice little run. 27-28 is like back-to-back home fixtures against that promoted opposition. So that's like super
I'm a captain time.
Who else stands out there? Mix, Bournemouth are the pick, aren't they? Really, I think,
yeah. Bournemouth look really good.
What's your observation other than Bournemouth like having a really, really nice run?
So, if we're focusing on Bournemouth, let's talk Bournemouth moves, mate.
Yeah.
Let's talk Bournemouth moves because it's really there's in the attack. There's three options, which I don't. I can't think for any other team in the league. You're looking at three options and going like all three of them are amazing picks. But it's which one do you go for? I've then thrown Kerkez on there from a defensive point of view because they were top of defensive fixture as well. But Clivert, Dango, Semenyo, mate, like that. This is a headache for me. I'm gonna probably bring one in. And you've always taught me penalties and set pieces are important. So at the minute, I can go to Clivert and take that penalty option. But 5.1 million for a player playing up front for a team that are very attacking and on form, Dango's tempting me. Where's your focus?
Yeah, what are your stats here? You got so the expected actual stats. What the last six are they? Or the last
Last six game weeks.
Yeah, so they're all looking really. The attackers like Cliver expected points of 34, Dango 35, and then Semenyo 35 as well. So they're all pretty much equal, really. Obviously, Clivert's got is massively overperformed, but we're not going to dwell on that too much. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Guns ahead.
very.
If I was going to rank them, the three attackers now, I'd go and I'd love two of them for sure. Like, if not three. So, like you said, it's a kind of rare thing. I'd probably go Clivert just, assuming that he's on penalties still. Right? Obviously, Semenyo took a bit of a viral penalty on the weekend in the FA Cup, where he just like looked away and then spun around and then hit it. I'll assume Clivert's still on, so I'd go Clivert just. Although you could have a minute's risk, right? I think some of the wingers are just about coming back, aren't they?
Yeah, it was quite interesting that Semenyo played 90 minutes in the FA Cup. I think Cliver came off the bench, so he only played maybe 25. But interesting that Semenyo played the full 90.
Yeah,
I mean, the other two
I think he's I think he's kind of like well known for being very fit, but like I think Tavernier's back, right? So he's came back game week 23 and game week 24. He got minutes as well. So I'm not saying he's going to start, but he's a minutes risk. I think primarily Clivert here. And who else is? I think there's another kind of winger who's kind of come back really, but Tavernier is a perfectly good player as well. But I'd go saying all that. I'd go Clivert, Dango, then Semenyo. But yeah, super close. I think Dango's is interesting because that's so much extra. Well, he's got the best underlying stats, right? And the underlying stats do take into account set pieces and penalties as well. We've got to remember, and he's just quite a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So yeah, budget aside, I go Clivert, Dango, Semenyo, and then considering budget, I think Dango might be the best.
And over the last six, expected goals higher, expected assists higher, expected goal involvement per 90 highest of the three.
I reckon you're Semenyo, are you going back to him?
No, I'm Cliver for the pens.
Yeah.
What is awkward? The Semenyo's awkward because he's middle price. He's a mid-price point. So you're either going Cliver for the pens or you're going Dango because he's the cheapest. I think Semenyo's out for that reason. Although he's the most creative.
Semenyo's probably the best player and the most nails. So that's his probably the most minutes, which is in his favour, I guess.
He's hurt me though. He's hurt me too many times. I held him for far, a bit like I've done with Sarr for Palace. Held him for far too long, and he gave me nothing.
I think close your eyes, take a pick, and then just kind of accept that they're all good options, really. So I think don't get hung out if one of them massively exceeds the other. But they're all great options. Shame Dango isn't a striker like in the actual game. They're not a huge amount of forward options. But yeah, I'd love two of them as options. I think it's gonna be tough for me to get to two, but they're looking fantastic. And I agree from a defensive point of view. I think Kepa and Kerkez are interesting. I think defenders. I think it's less of depends on team structure as always. However, I think a lot of teams are quite well set up with defenders at the moment. So kind of getting Kerkez in will force it a little bit more. But I like Kerkez, I like Kepa. But I think it's the three midfielders which are the priority. And just take your pick. I like them all.
Take your pick.
If I was to go, with my team structure, if I was to get one this week.
Yeah. No, I get you. And yeah, KKS has been less attacking than I thought he would be. 0.08 expected goal involvement in the last six game weeks. Not up there with the likes of your Robinsons, your Trents, even Nico Williams from Forest seems a bit quiet for what he's seen as an attacking defender, right? Like a Munez sort of player, but the stats don't back that. So I'm with you. Stick with the midfielders. I'd love to get two. I'll probably just do one. I'll try and I'll play a bit more safe. Captains, this is going to be a very quick one, pal. It's a double game week. Mo Salah's playing in it. Do you say any more?
Yeah, Salah. Let's leave it at that.
If you had Watkins, would you go? Would you consider him?
No, he'd be vice captain, of course. But yeah, Salah captain for sure. And I think if people still have triple captain available and don't have an active assistant manager, like this seems like a great opportunity. And I think actually looking at expected points, they're like what 3 higher, 16.7 expected points according to Fix versus like I think when we're checking game week 25, obviously he's exceeded it already, but going into the week I think it was at 13. So yeah, on paper these are far better fixtures for him to get returns. So yeah, you'd be captaining him, and if you still have your triple captain, you'd be mad not to captain him for this week.
Play on him. Yeah, if you haven't blocked it with the assistant manager. Yeah, let's say no more. Salah, and more Salah. Well, that brings us, mate. We are absolutely flying. This brings us to game week 25 team reveals, and you are up first, my friend.
Yeah. Now with the timing, I wonder what we talk about normally. Transitions. Now you've got an agenda. Now you've done your project management training. You're keeping us in order. You set your expectations up front as well. You want to finish by quarter past. It's a nice running order. Nice running order. But yeah, that's what people want, I think, right?
So the crowd are asking for it. We are delivering what the crowd want.
Exactly. I know why we're actually going so quick. Normally we spend half hour talking about our teams and our scores and what happened.
True. We'll skip that. But we'll do that. Will be back next week because we need to show where we're at. But we'll can ignore it this week.
So game week 25, a couple of things to observe. I've got Moyes assistant manager, so the assistant manager chip still will be active because of course once you activated it, it's active for 3 game weeks. So this will be my 2nd game week. A couple of problem players that I've got in my team. I don't like Sarr from Palace. I don't like Fernandez. That love-hate relationship, that was more just hate relationship continues. I hate having João Pedro, and because of my structure, it's I'm kind of forced to play him in a lot of weeks because I got a non-playing striker with Stewart. So there's a lot I don't like, and yeah, of course Moyes. I don't want Moyes for a single game week against Palace, right? So looking at my team, I've got going for my team: Pickford, Canate, Gabriel, Trent, Palmer, Salah, Sarr, and Mbeumo, Fernandez, João Pedro, Isak, and then Moyes as my assistant manager. I kind of need to move Moyes, right? That's super obvious. I've already got 3 Liverpool players, so I need to move Moyes to Emery. So that kind of picks itself. I do need some cash to do that, so I need to make some moves to free up money to kind of make that happen. Now, a couple ones that I've got on my radar. So one will be Isak to Watkins, right? Obviously, that's a bit of a risk given Isak's form. I think it's now or never to kind of jump off Newcastle players. Newcastle got a blank in 29 as a Villa, so it's net not much of a change. I like the upside of Watkins, so I think I'm pretty confident I'll be doing that move. If I could bring in Watkins, obviously for João Pedro or Stewart, I'd be doing that for a pathway, but there's nothing really that works for me. I tried Fernandez out for Dango, and do I have any spare cash then to upgrade the João Pedro? I don't, unfortunately. So yeah, I've got to kind of go down that pathway. So I'm pretty sure I'll do Moyes to Emery and Isak to Watkins, and then Sarr is a bit of a problem. Palace have a blank in 29 as well. So I think I've got 2 options here. We spoke about the Bournemouth boys bringing in Dango or Semenyo. I think I'm out. I can't afford Clivert, right? So it's Dango in for that nice Bournemouth run, or Rodgers. So unfortunately, I don't have Rodgers already. So I think despite his stats not being great, the double game week fixture does have an appeal, right? So I could well go kind of Rodgers, and then that would mean I'll be tripled on Liverpool and Villa with the captain. So I've got some nice options. So I think I'll make the 3 transfers. It's just a question of it, whether it's Dango in for Sarr or Rodgers in for Sarr. And what this will mean is actually like looking a bit forward, game week 29, I'll have enough free transfers to navigate that blank.
Without taking a chip.
I'll be able to put out like, just.
Okay, so you're just hoping no injuries come.
Exactly. So it runs a bit of a risk, but like I think it's we'll talk about it another time. But I don't think it's a massive problem if you're like down a player or something like that on that week. It's not kind of like a huge one. I think it kind of like picks itself a lot of the moves for my team structure. Obviously, that means that I've got some problems in my team that I'd love to get rid of, João Pedro, Fernandes, and they're just still there. But I don't think I want to hit them out. I think that would be foolish.
Yeah, got you. It's interesting, isn't it?
Bruno,
these are the sort of games. I was looking through João Pedro, right? I'm going to bring it up just so I don't misquote. But these are the sort of games that he can bring home points. Because he seems to, in the big games when Brighton are playing teams that you'd consider to be near the top of the league, he bangs. So examples: Arsenal, goal; Villa, 2 assists; Man City got 11 points away at Bournemouth. He got 12, and they're flying against Arsenal. He got a goal against United. He got a goal. Like he scores in these fixtures, so I don't hate him being in your squad for this one. And
it's more against Palace. I know it's a unique game against Forest because they lost 7-0, but him getting pulled at half time when I would class him as their best player, that spooked me a little bit.
Yeah, which I do get, but I don't hate him being on the pitch. Chelsea concede, hence why I got rid of Sanchez, and he could very easily be in the mix. Bruno again, sort of game he can step up in. Tottenham conceded goals.
It's not terrible. It's more his, again, he's surrounded by really bad players, which I keep forgetting all the time. And like he's playing because the rest of the team is bad. He's playing deep because he needs to build up play, right? So
yeah,
I'd far prefer getting rid of Sarr and Fernandes and getting 2 Bournemouth players, right? But I can't really do that with my pathway. But I mean, the decision I've got is who out for Sarr, right? Dango, Rodgers, or indeed like Semenyo. But like, who would you be going for?
And to get rid of, I'm assuming if you get rid of, so Sarr to Rodgers would allow you the money to move Moyes to Emery.
And I need to make that move. So Sarr to Rodgers or Sarr to Dango is
hedge my bets. I'd hedge my bets. I'd go Dango.
Okay.
If you're bringing in Emre, you're already covering yourself with a Villa asset, right?
Okay, interesting way of thinking. Yeah, interesting way of thinking about it.
So you're bringing in a Villa asset. So if they do, I appreciate if Rodgers scores in a win, you're getting 6 points for Emre anyway. And if Bournemouth pop off at Southampton, you don't want to be missing out on those points.
I don't really believe in coverage though. Like I think it's not mutually exclusive, right? So, but I kind of hear what you're saying. So you'd go Dango.
I think I'd go Dango anyway, mate. Out of the two, I mean, I just ran through the expected goal involvement data. And what was Rodgers? Rodgers is 0.21. Dango's 0.83. I'd go Dango anyway. Better fixture. Appreciate it's not a double, but a much better fixture.
Well, he does that. I think the benefit with Dango is less so this week. That's where the risk is. But then thereafter, it's like a nicer fixture one by far. And then he has a game in game week 29, whereas Rodgers won't.
Exactly. So Rodgers, bringing Rodgers in is -4 because you're going to have to transfer him out eventually.
Yeah. No, get it. Anyway, so one decision really. I think the other moves pick themselves for me. But what about yours? I'm curious.
Yeah. Similar routes, but I've just done some maths on mine just to see if I can make something work, and I can with a caveat. So I've done the same as you, mate. I've counted up how many people I've got blanking in 29. I've got 6. I've got the 3 Liverpool assets. I've got Rodgers, Sarr, and Isaac all blanking. Coming on 2 free transfers, I can between now and game week 29, I'll be able to make 6 in total. Is the point I'm kind of coming to there. With 3 bench options, I've got a couple I can play with. So to run through my team, Becker and goal. goal. Trent across the defence. Sarr, Rogers, Palmer, Fernandez, and Salah, with him having the armband in the midfield. And then I'm starting Wissa and Isaac. 0.5 in the bank. So if I want to get Emery in, I'm also going to have to make transfers, get some money. I'm fed up of Fernandez and I'm fed up of Sarr, same as you. So what I could do, mate, just from something you've just said, I could sell Fernandez for Dango. It would then allow me to move Delap to Watkins. I can afford that.
Do that.
What it stops me being able to do is get an Emre as an assistant manager.
Does it?
Yeah, I wouldn't have the money. I'd be left with 0.4 million in the bank. So it stops the assistant manager chip.
Oh, that's tough.
But I'm not massive on playing it anyway, if I'm honest. Thinking about the fixtures they've got, even going forward, I kind of want to set and forget manager.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if I think, I mean, you could probably keep and hold it, and then what that means then is you're going to use that in a double probably later in the season, game 36
yeah,
maybe. That means that you can just use free hit in 29 and go and not care about bringing in Villa
certain players. Yeah,
and Newcastle players. Which could be an interesting tactic, but you're going to do it. You commit to it.
yeah, no, that's the problem. And I'm not. I'd like to do the transfers, but yeah, Watkins. What I want the news. I want news from Emre. Is Watkins fit? Because I mean, that'll solve all the problems. Would you, out of interest, because what I could do to get the money is also drop Sarr down to maybe Semenyo, and then that'd give me the money to do Emre, but
I think
I'd have to take a -4.
menu same price, no?
Let me double check that.
I think SAR's 5.7 and Semenyo's 5.6, right?
Ah, man, so I wouldn't be able to do it. Ah, well, the dream's gone. I mean, I could do it for Wissa, but I've just bought Wissa in. So, so what are your thoughts? Go on. Would you do it for Wissa?
What, bringing in Watkins?
Yeah, and it'd leave me the money to then do Emery.
Well, the issue with using Fernandez, as you said, you want to navigate 29 with transfers. Fernandez is one of the rare players that has a fixture and a good one at that. So he's a captaincy option.
Who's he got? 29.
Let me just double check.
Leicester away.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, he's probably the best captaincy option outside of Haaland, right? So, if your plan is to navigate 29 with transfers, you kind of want to keep Fernandez, right?
Yeah, he's frustrating me too much, pal. But yeah, I get your point. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I could do him to Dango, bring in Watkins for Delap. I'll then end up benching Sarr. Instead of obviously playing Watkins, which I don't hate. Salah's going to be my captain. It's whether I do the assistant manager or not. If I do the assistant manager, mate, I'll probably make one transfer only, and it could easily be Sarr to Kluivert.
Yep.
Again, to afford Emre, I'd have to do Sarr down to
Dango.
To Dango, but then I could afford Emre. So that could be the route to do. Sarr down, keep Bruno for the week.
Yep.
Sarr becomes Dango, play the assistant manager on Emre. That could be the other route. And then it's only one transfer used, and I'm also getting rid of a player that blanks in 29 and bringing somebody in that plays in 29. So that could be a route.
Yeah.
Prefer that?
That's quite pretty sensible route, yeah.
Sensible but boring, right? Having Watkins would have been so fun. I just can't bring myself to sell Isaac, mate. I can't do it.
Yeah, I reckon it's a fun move. It's a fun move that, and then do your assistant manager another time.
Yeah, does sound pretty fun. Does sound pretty fun. We'll see tomorrow.
And
If you had a gun to your head,
Watkins ease at your three Liverpools, Rogers and what else we have? Yeah, well, you have quite a lot of blankers. But you can just
have 7.
Yeah, you can just have
7. 7 blankers.
Then you can just like work on the fixtures around 29 and just ignore that. So that's a route. That's an interesting route for you.
I'll plan this out. I'll plan this out further. I only thought about it when you said about doing it for your team, and now it's in my head. I'm like, oh, that'd be so fun. So we'll see. We'll see what I do next week. But it could be an interesting route. I just want to play that free hit in
When we
the
landed
Premier
here,
League.
you about 6 options.
I know. I know. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. But I appreciate the advice. Appreciate the advice. Matt versus Dave to end on. We haven't got the scores from last game week because we still have players to play. I am currently leading thanks to a very late goal by NDIE with him and Majuka. I think I'm on 9 points, and I think for your 2, you're Robertson. Did he get 6? Robertson 6
Yeah.
and Somersley 3, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe we're level. Either way, you've got 2 to play and I've got 1 to play. So we'll find out next week who won that. But we do need to pick players for game week 25. And I'm first, and I'm going to pick a staple of this game for the last couple of weeks. Dominic Somersley, 2.8% owned, playing twice. And in his last 4 game weeks, averaging 0.6 expected goal involvement per game. So I'm expecting him to get at least 1 return
Nice.
within that time. So yeah, Wolves and Villa to play. Somersley is my pick number 1.
Cool. I'll go with Andy Robertson again. 4.4% owned. 2 games. I think he'll start both. Chance for at least 1 clean sheet then. So yeah, I'll go Robertson.
Big Andy. No fear of Simicast?
Nah, who's that? Nah.
Yeah, some Greek Scouse guy. I think the best Liverpool picks are gone. I'm going to pick a Villa player, target that Ipswich game, and who knows, they can obviously get a return against Liverpool at home as well. Couple of options, mate. But I highlighted before the attacking stats for the Villa players. And whilst Watkins is number 1, he's well over 5% owned. Tielemans is number 2. Second highest for attacking returns over the last, for unexpected points over the last 6 game weeks. Doesn't feel a great pick, if I'm honest. 1% owned. Doing it for the double. I'll go with Tielemans.
Yeah, nice. No, I like it. I'll do the same logic. Villa midfielder. Despite what I said earlier, I'll go Rashford.
We've both done that because I slagged off NDA something chronic last week and then picked him. So we both do it, and he's got a point to prove. Rashford, I can see him coming into this team and proving that point. He's obviously got the talent. He's done it in the Premier League many times before, so he's playing for a move, right? So let's see how he gets on. So Somersley and Tielemans for me, Robertson and Rashford for you. We'll find out next week how we go. But that brings us to the end, mate. That. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to see if I played the assistant manager chip, if I bought in Watkins, whole range of options that I've got going. Yours seems pretty linear.
Bango or Rogers, yeah, not quite as exciting.
Yeah, be exciting. It will be exciting, though. It will be exciting. But just a big shout out. We've seemed to have grown our audience over the last couple of weeks. An extra 20 plus have joined over the last 2 episodes. So if you are new to us, thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it. But for anybody that is watching and is not subscribed, please click the subscribe button. It does help us out. It's free to do. Show support. Just means other people get to find us as well. But yeah, say hello to the new listeners.
Not far off the 1,000. We'll do something special. We'll do a. I'll commit to a in-person one, right? You and I in the same room.
In person. Okay. Once we get to 1,000, an in-person live.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Work out the logistics later, but yeah, why not?
Yeah, in person to celebrate with a beer. We have to have a beer each. But yeah, but mate, we did it. We said it will be done by past. We did it. I appreciate you did that for me. And just if Bristol Rovers and Bristol City were playing each other, I'd do it for you as well. So
mate, just close it. You're gonna lose the
Gonna lose the time. But thank you for joining us, mate. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next game week. Appreciate the headache you've now given me about what I'm going to do with my team. That's what we're here for. So, but I appreciate your time, Matt. Catch you next week, pal. And to you, the listener, thank you for joining us. As I say, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. It does help us out. It's other people can find us. And whatever you decide to do with your team ahead of game week 25, best of luck with it, and we'll catch you next week.